Welcome to Sofa Mahir, Yetawat Alat Mahur, and Quantanamatu. My name is Qes Dr. Pete. I'm a professor of Old Testament and Biblical languages. The proverb says, Qes beqes inkulal be'egru yehidal. And here, slowly, we're working to become skilled scholars. This video is about defining original research. And in it, we're going to do three things. First, I'm going to offer a definition of original research. Second, I'm going to explain, in light of that definition, what original research is. And thirdly, in light of that definition, what original research isn't. So firstly, let's define original research. And here I'm going to rely on the work of Shibayama and Wang, who wrote an article on measuring originality in science. They described originality in science as the degree to which a scientific discovery provides subsequent studies with unique knowledge that is not available from previous studies. I'm going to adapt their words to define original research in this way. Original research is research that provides subsequent studies with unique knowledge, insight, or clarity that is not available from previous studies. So that's my definition of original research. And this could apply to anything you are asked to write or create in an academic or other setting, such as a reflection or an essay or a review or an article or a book. So in light of that definition, now let's consider what original research is. Original research has a past, a present, and a future aspect. Original research has a past aspect because it provides something that's not available from previous studies. That means that original research looks back to previous studies, back to previous literature, and is able to show a gap. Original research is in the present because when you write something that is original, you're writing something that is now, at this moment, new. Your writing provides new knowledge, insight, or clarity, and at the moment you are writing it, it is your fresh contribution right now in the present. Original research has a future aspect to it because what you write now will provide the previous research for future writers and thinkers. They will depend upon your insights and build upon them for new insights in times to come. So original research is part of a chain of ideas. It depends upon ideas and insights and things being explained clearly in the past. It provides something new along those lines in the present, and people in the future will then build on it to add more things to knowledge or generate more insight or clarity in the future to come. But let me just explain a bit more about what we mean by new knowledge, insight, or clarity. Providing new knowledge means providing new information or data that wasn't available before your work. Providing new insight means providing fresh understanding or perception of connections between things that people had not seen before. And providing new clarity means making a complicated thing simple in a way that people can understand it. Any one or mixture of these three elements is a legitimate contribution that someone can make in original research. So that's what original research is, according to my definition. But it can also be helpful to look at things the other way around and ask what is not original research in light of this definition. Imagine a room full of people having a conversation about a topic, and you want to join in with that conversation. This is the way that you can imagine your contribution to original research. How should you best do that? Well, here's something you should not do. It would be a bad idea to walk into the room, ignore everyone else, stand in the middle of the room on a chair, and just tell people what you think. First, you have no idea if they already had those same thoughts and ideas. How do you know that what you're saying is original? But also, secondly, why should other people listen to you if you wouldn't give them the courtesy of listening to them? And if you don't listen to them, they won't listen to you. And so what you say will not be part of the conversation moving forward. Ignoring other people and not listening to them illustrates the way in which you cannot do original research. But there's two particular ways that works out in practice. Let's consider them now. The first way you can fail to listen to people and not do original research is by doing poorly referenced research. Poorly referenced research is like taking those three elements of original research and ignoring that first box, the element of the past, previous research. Let's think about what that looks like practically using a list of do nots and do's. Firstly, do not just state your opinion about something. To do so means to ignore everyone else's opinions first. What you should do instead is explain other people's opinions and then add your own to that conversation. Secondly, do not quote or cite other authors' views uncritically. Doing so makes it look as though you have nothing fresh to add and that you're not thinking as a scholar about what other people have to say. What you should do instead is summarize other people's views and identify good and bad things about them. Now, later on in this series, I'm going to do a video on how to summarize views and how to select quotations well. And a third thing you shouldn't do is say things like most authors say, or scholars believe, or it is a general view that. Statements that make it sound as though you are engaging with previous research without actually connecting to the work of previous researchers. Instead, what you should imagine yourself doing is putting out hooks or anchors to real people in the real world, things that they've actually said. So here's an example of some of the ways you might do that. You could say something like, a recent study by Dixon argued that, or I will discuss here 3 prevalent views since Eichrodt, exemplified by Smith, Fredericks, and Capel. Or you could summarize someone else's summary of the discussion like this. Frankel argues that there have been 4 competing views regarding this topic in the past 100 years. I will argue that 2 of these views are substantially the same, and that she did not consider 2 significant perspectives that have gone mostly unnoticed by Western scholars, but have been prevalent within African journals. Now, please don't just copy and paste exactly what I've said here. That would not be appropriate. Rather, take these examples as illustrations of what it looks like to put out hooks or anchors into the real world of real people and real scholars. You want to put out as many of these hooks as possible to demonstrate to people that you have listened to previous research. And doing so will also help build better knowledge, insight, and clarity in your own work as well. Now, poorly referenced research is bad scholarship, but plagiarism is dishonest scholarship. It is worse than poorly referenced research and is a punishable offence in every academic institution. In poorly referenced research, you fail to listen to what other people are saying. But in plagiarism, you speak in a way that doesn't distinguish what you're saying from other people. Plagiarism is blurring the lines between your voice and other people's voices. It's taking the work, the words, the ideas of someone else and presenting them to people as though they are your own. If you can't even tell people what about your words belong to you, then your words definitely can't be original. Now, I'm going to do a whole series of videos on what plagiarism is and how to avoid it. But for the time being, just note that plagiarism is very bad and will mean that people will not take you seriously. And if you're caught committing plagiarism, then you will likely be punished. So let's recap. In this video, I've given a definition of original research as this. Original research is research that provides subsequent studies with unique knowledge, insight, or clarity that is not available from previous studies. Original research is part of a chain of ideas from people in the past to what you're saying in the present that leads on to things in the future. Original research is rooted in the past by putting anchors or hooks into previous research and demonstrating that you're listening to what people are saying and now you're going to add to the conversation. Original research is about the present because in it you add new knowledge, insight, or clarity that is unique to you that hasn't been discovered before. And original research leads into the future because it provides subsequent studies with something to base their work on so people can build from what it is that you have contributed. There are 2 ways to not do original research. The first is bad scholarship, where you ignore previous research and you don't provide enough or any hooks into that previous research to show that you have listened to other people in the room before speaking into the conversation. And the second, more serious way of not doing original research is by blurring the lines between what other people have said and what you're saying, by not distinguishing between what is other people's work, ideas, or words and what are your work, ideas, or words. So there you have it, a definition of original research, an explanation of what it is and what it isn't. And I hope this explanation helps you to succeed in the research and writing that you do. Thanks for watching Sofer Mahir. If you found this video helpful, please like and share it. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell for alerts of new content. My name is Case Dr. Pete. I'm Professor of Old Testament and Biblical Languages at Shiloh International Theological Seminary. SITS provides theological education to Ethiopia and beyond that is sustainable, accessible, vital, excellent, and relevant to people's lives today. We have campus locations all over Ethiopia, degrees at the bachelor's, master's and PhD levels, and instructors who teach in English, Amharic and Oromofa language mediums. Maybe you're an Ethiopian who wants to study with us in Hawassa, Addis or one of our other satellite campuses. Or maybe you're a student from outside Ethiopia who'd like a unique educational experience in a Semitic language context with its own bespoke Christian heritage in one of the most beautiful countries in the world. Whether for a week-long intensive course or a 3-year degree program, the SITS faculty and administrative team want to make world-class theological education accessible for you. Check out our website at sits-edu.org to find out more.